Hi, I'm Nate with Average Jack Archery Pro Shop and Range here in Phillipsburg, PA, and I think building an arrow specific for Total Archery Challenge is a giant waste of time. It's true. I don't think that spending your hard-earned dollars on building an arrow specific to an event that is just meant for fun is the world's best idea. Instead, I would rather you see yourself build a really highly tunable, awesome whitetail, elk, any big game species arrow, regardless of where you hunt. Now, most of the Total Archery Challenges are in heavily hunting states, Colorado, Michigan, Pennsylvania, down even in Oklahoma, pretty good subset of bow hunters down there. And it's not that difficult to get a mid-weight hunting arrow that works really well at long distance. In particular at TAC events, you know, they got targets out to what, 120, 130 yards, something like that. You can still build an arrow though that's gonna handle those distances, but more importantly, the longer range shots that actually are more feasible, like 70, 80, and 90 yards. There's a handful of targets obviously out there in the triple digits, but most of them are under 100. And so that arrow doesn't have to be super highly thought out for that process, for those distances, right? So it's actually really easy to build an arrow that way, and it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to build an arrow that you're gonna be able to taking out to your Total Archery Challenge events. There are a ton of great arrow options on the market that don't cost an arm and a leg, that are great for your overall local 3D, backyard, and then TAC shoots as well. We're gonna go through 4 of them. Number 1, none of these are a 1/66 diameter arrow. I don't like 1/66 diameter arrows. I feel like it's just a kind of waste of time, effort, and energy to be building a half-out footed system arrow for 3D specific events. Pulling out half-outs, and I know there's gonna be people in the comments that say otherwise, but pulling half-outs out of a foam target is actually a giant pain in the butt. And particularly if you get to one of these TACs that's earlier on in the season and it's still a little bit colder outside, trying to pull out one, you know, particularly if it's a closer target, like 40 and in, and your arrow weighs like 400 and plus odd grains, you get some decent penetration and it's a pain in the butt to get them out of the target. So I like sticking with standard or maybe a 5mm that's got a really small footer. Arrow option number 1, your good old Easton 6.5 bow hunter. As the name implies, it's a bow hunting style arrow. It's gonna be a good bow hunting style weight, but it is dirt cheap and USA made. For a arrow Easton 6.5 bow hunter, you can't beat it. You can go with a classic, you can go with a match grade if you want to, but why waste the money on something you might be snapping in half, sending to a caribou at 120 yards. Second down the line is gonna be your Ultra Novum. Again, a standard diameter arrow with a standard insert. It's pre-fletched. It's gonna be a little bit higher in price point. Components are a little bit tighter, tolerances are a little bit tighter than they are with Easton bow hunter, but it is gonna be a touch lighter as well. So for guys like in my neck of the woods in terms of that 300, 340 spine, you're gonna find you're gonna shave off a few grains. Doesn't hurt to have that when you're shooting long distance, but it's also not gonna break the wallet when you go to snap a few over 120 yard caribou. Moving up into your lighter GPI shafts, but still in a standard diameter, this is the Gold Tip Velocity. So it takes the regular Gold Tip XT Hunter, Pro Hunter, regular Hunter, but it takes it down a GPI to the next spine underneath it. So I know that might sound confusing. A 340 XT Velocity weighs the same as a 400 non-velocity. A 300 weighs as much as a 340, a 250, and so on and so forth. So you're actually getting a whole GPI lighter. It's almost like you went down a spine, but you didn't. You stayed at the correct spine for your draw length. So you can actually get, in my case, with a 30-some inch arrow, I can actually get a 30 grain or almost 35 grain lighter arrow just by going to the Velocity series. Still runs your standard 12 grain insert, and it runs a smaller, lighter Aculite nock. So what you can get is you can get a hunting arrow that's lighter. Later on down the road, you want to throw a 50 grain insert on the front end, you can take it out for whitetails in the woods. It's the right spine for you, so on and so forth. I think the Velocity series from Gold Tip is the best overall standard diameter arrow out there. You get good durability, you get a nice lightweight package, but you can put more FOC up front for hunting if you want to. Going up with the FOC crowd and going a little bit smaller in diameter is the regular Victory Rip. None of this Rip XV, none of this Rip TKO Elite nonsense. Just the good old-fashioned Victory Rip. I've shot the TKO arrows from Victory before. I think, in my opinion, I've snapped them just as easily as I have these. And when I say just as easily, Victory makes a very durable arrow. Let's not kid ourselves here. I think you are overpaying for the TKO versions. The XVs are even more brittle, so I don't think they're good for hunting at all. Same thing with the 3D HV. So I would stick to a good old-fashioned rip. It has a much smaller half-out system than a lot of competitors' half-outs. It also so happens to be stainless steel. So you get yourself a very lightweight overall arrow. You're talking in the low 8s for a 300 spine. So you're gonna be able to reach out to longer distances. It's not a 4 mil, so you don't have this giant half-out system, half-footer system. It's a smaller package. You're gonna be able to get to longer distances, but it is the most expensive, in particular if you go with the 3000s, the Gamer, or the 1000s, the Elite, over the other standard diameter. I'm just a big sucker for standard diameter arrows. I think they're plenty thin, right? There's not a massive amount of difference between the two. They're plenty thin for the needs of shooting long range. They work really well in all hunting applications, and they're readily available in every bow shop you could possibly walk into. So that's my thoughts on what you should and should not do for a TAC arrow for 2025, and it will probably stay that way for 2026 as well. But for now, get yourself a standard diameter arrow or a halfway decent 5 mil that's lighter. Don't get yourself a super heavy GPI one. Go down to your local pro shop and ask them what they have in stock. It's a good chance they have one or all of these in stock, and you'll be able to go for your next Total Archery Challenge. So that's all for this video. If you have any questions, do drop them down in the comment section below. You can look in the description and find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can always send me an email, averagearchery@gmail.com. If you need a home bow shop here in central Pennsylvania, or you just live in the Northeast in general, 21 North Front Street in Phillipsburg, PA, you can find us right on Google Maps, and it'll take you right to my front door. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy God's beautiful creation, enjoy the sport of archery and archery hunting if you so choose, and we'll get to see you next time.